The stars shone brightly against the black canvas of space. Captain Alexandra Miller stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Guardian, her eyes fixed on the view screen. The year was 2087, and humanity had spread beyond Earth to Mars and Europa. They were no longer confined to one world, but they were still new to the stars. "Captain, we have an unknown object approaching Jupiter's orbit," said Officer Paul Garcia, his voice tight with tension. Alex leaned forward. "Show me." The screen changed to show a sleek vessel unlike anything built by human hands. It moved with impossible grace, its hull shimmering with a faint blue glow. "Are they responding to hails?" Alex asked. "No, Captain, but they're scanning us very thoroughly." Alex straightened her blue uniform. "Keep trying all frequencies, and alert Earth Command." The next hour passed in tense silence. The crew of the Guardian watched as the alien ship continued its approach. It was smaller than their vessel, but looked far more advanced. "Captain, they're responding," Paul said suddenly. The view screen flickered, and a face appeared. The alien had gray-blue skin, large eyes, and no visible nose. It wore what looked like a uniform with strange symbols. "This is Sub-Commander Zextil of the Altarian Galactic Empire," the alien said in perfect English. "Your communications are primitive but understandable." Alex kept her face neutral despite her surprise. "I am Captain Alexandra Miller of the Earth Defense Force. You have entered the territory of Earth and its colonies. State your purpose." Zextil's large eyes blinked slowly. "Territory. Your species has no legitimate claim beyond your atmospheric boundary. We are conducting a standard survey of this system." "Times have changed," Alex replied. "Earth has established legal colonies on Mars and Europa. Our jurisdiction extends throughout the solar system." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "A primitive species with delusions of importance. Your technology is barely beyond chemical propulsion. We have ruled 10,000 worlds for 50,000 years." Alex smiled slightly. "You might be surprised by what we can do, Sub-Commander." "Again, I ask your purpose here." Zextil seemed to consider something. "You are not in our database. This is unusual. How did you achieve space travel without being cataloged?" Instead of answering, Alex pressed a button on her chair. The Guardian's defense systems activated, not firing, but clearly targeting the alien vessel. "Our defensive capabilities are now locked on your ship," she said calmly. "We prefer peace, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." The alien's expression changed. "Interesting. Your weapons are more advanced than your ship design suggests." "We're full of surprises," Alex said. "Now, will you answer my question?" Zextil was quiet for a moment. "I am authorized to conduct preliminary assessment of new species. I will report my findings to the Imperial Center. You can expect a formal contact within 1 of your months." Without waiting for a response, the alien ship turned and accelerated away at incredible speed. "Track them," Alex ordered. "They're gone, Captain," said Paul. "They just vanished." Alex sat back in her chair. "Send a complete report to Earth. We need to prepare." 2 days later, leaders from Earth and the colonies gathered in the United Nations building in New York. Alex stood before them, explaining the encounter. "They called themselves the Altarian Galactic Empire," she said. "They seemed surprised by our technology." "Did they detect our advancements?" asked Governor Kate Wilson of the Mars colony. "I don't think so," Alex replied. "They saw our ship and weapons, but they don't know about the visitor." Everyone knew what she meant. 40 years ago, an alien ship had crashed in Arizona. The technology recovered had advanced human science by centuries. It was Earth's most closely guarded secret. "If they represent an empire," said General Joe Ramirez, "they won't come back with just one ship." President Laura Foster stood up. "Then we need to be ready. Captain Miller, you'll lead our response team. We have 1 month to prepare Earth's defenses." As the meeting continued, Alex looked out the window at the busy New York streets below. The people there had no idea that everything was about to change. Humanity was about to face its greatest challenge, and they would need every secret advantage they had. 3 weeks after the first contact, Admiral Daniel Wright stood on the bridge of Earth's largest warship, the Defender. 5 other ships formed a defensive line behind him at the edge of the solar system. They waited. Any sign of them? Daniel asked, his gray eyes scanning the star-filled view screen. Nothing yet, sir, replied Lieutenant Amy Foster, her fingers moving across the control panel. Daniel nodded. At 53, he had seen humanity reach for the stars. He had commanded the first mission to Europa. But nothing had prepared him for this moment, meeting an alien empire that spanned thousands of worlds. Sir, energy spike detected, Amy called out suddenly. Something big is coming. The space in front of them seemed to bend and stretch. Then a massive ship appeared. It dwarfed the Defender like a whale next to a minnow. Its hull gleamed silver and blue, with strange patterns that seemed to move and shift. That's at least 10 times our size, whispered Officer Ben Rodriguez. More ships appeared behind the first one, smaller but still impressive. Daniel straightened his uniform. Open communications, he ordered. The view screen changed to show an alien different from the one Captain Miller had met. This one had darker skin and wore elaborate clothing with glowing symbols. I am Imperial Assessor Kroven of the Altarian Galactic Empire, the alien said. Your species will now be evaluated for proper integration into the Imperial structure. Daniel stepped forward. I am Admiral Daniel Wright of Earth. We appreciate your interest, but Earth and its colonies will remain independent. The alien's face showed what might have been amusement. That is not how this works. Admiral, of the 12,627 civilizations we have encountered, only 765 have remained independent. The rest serve as protectorates. And what does that mean exactly? Daniel asked, keeping his voice calm. You will receive imperial protection, limited technology, and the right to govern your internal affairs. In exchange, you will provide resources and soldiers for the Empire. Daniel shook his head. That arrangement doesn't interest us. We've only just gained our freedom among the stars. Krovan's large eyes narrowed. You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. The alien touched something off-screen, and data began flowing to the Earth ships. These are the protocols for assessment. We will evaluate your technology, military capability, cultural stability, and resource value. Based on these factors, your status will be determined. And if we refuse to be evaluated, Daniel asked, then you are automatically classified as a protectorate of the lowest level. Kroven replied. It would be unwise to resist. Daniel thought quickly. Earth's technology, enhanced by the crashed alien ship, was advanced, but not enough to win against an empire of thousands of worlds. We request time to prepare for this assessment, he said finally. 1 of your months, Kroven said. No more. I will return with a full evaluation fleet. Prepare your leaders and data systems. The screen went dark. The massive alien ship turned slowly and disappeared in another bend of space. The smaller ships followed. Back on Earth, Daniel reported to the United World Council. The room was silent as he finished explaining. They'll be back with more ships, he said, and they expect us to surrender without a fight. President Foster looked around the table at the representatives from Earth, Mars, and Europa. Then we need something that will make them think twice, she said. Dr. Martinez, what's the status of Project Prometheus? A woman with short black hair stood up. We've made breakthroughs, Madam President. The quantum shield could be ready in 3 weeks. And our fleet? The President asked. General Ramirez nodded. We've hidden our advanced ships in the asteroid belt. The Altarians only saw our older models. Daniel looked at the holographic display of the solar system. They're treating us like we're primitive. We can use that. Let them underestimate us. A dangerous game, said Governor Wilson from Mars. If we lose, we serve an alien empire forever, Daniel replied. I say we show them why Earth should be left alone. The president stood. Agreed. Admiral Wright, you'll lead our response when they return. Everyone else, prepare your people. Humanity is about to make a stand. Outside the window, the sun was setting over Washington, D.C. Daniel wondered if their son would still be free a month from now. They had to succeed. There was no other option. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most humans, Dr. Olivia Martinez led Admiral Wright through a series of security checkpoints. Each door required different access codes, retinal scans, and voice recognition. The security seems extreme, Admiral Wright noted as they passed through the seventh door. What we're developing here could save humanity or destroy it, Olivia replied. Her voice was calm, but her eyes revealed her lack of sleep. This way, please. They entered a massive underground chamber. In the center stood a complex machine with parts that glowed with blue-white energy. Engineers and scientists worked at stations around it. Admiral Wright, welcome to Project Prometheus, Olivia said. Our answer to the Altarian Empire. A tall man with red hair approached them. Chief Engineer Ryan Jackson. He introduced himself. We've made significant progress since your last visit. Show me, Daniel said. Ryan led them to a holographic display. This is a quantum shield. It creates a barrier that exists in multiple states simultaneously, making it impossible to breach with conventional weapons. Impossible. Daniel raised an eyebrow. The shield absorbs energy and redirects it, Olivia explained. The more force applied against it, the stronger it becomes. Daniel studied the display. And it can protect the entire planet. Earth and its immediate space, yes, Ryan said. But there's a limitation. We don't have enough power to extend it to Mars or Europa. Daniel frowned. So we can protect Earth, but not our colonies. For now, Olivia agreed. But there's more. Ryan, show him. Ryan touched the display, and it changed to show a satellite network. These are quantum entanglement communicators. Once deployed, they'll allow instant communication across the solar system, regardless of distance. That gives us a tactical advantage, Daniel noted. The Altarians won't expect that level of coordination. Exactly, Olivia said. But Admiral, the shield alone won't be enough. It's defensive only. Before Daniel could respond, the door opened and Secretary of Defense Samantha Peterson entered. She was in her 60s but moved with the energy of someone younger. Then we need to make defense look like offense, Samantha said. The psychological approach. Daniel turned. Explain. Throughout history, when a smaller force faced a larger one, they sometimes won through fear and reputation. Samantha said, we need to make Earth seem dangerous to conquer, not worth the effort. Bluffing an alien empire? Ryan asked with doubt in his voice. Not entirely bluffing, Samantha replied. We have the shield, advanced ships, and weapons from the visitor's craft. We just need to present them in the most intimidating way possible. Daniel nodded slowly. Make Earth the porcupine of the galaxy. Too painful to swallow. Precisely, Samantha said. And I have a plan for that. Over the next 2 weeks, Earth prepared. The quantum shield generators were positioned around the planet. Hidden bases on the moon activated. Advanced weapons were installed on older ships to keep their true capabilities secret. In the United World Council, Daniel presented Samantha's plan. Operation Porcupine has 3 phases, he explained to the assembled leaders. First, we appear weak and vulnerable during the initial assessment. Second, we reveal our defensive capabilities with the quantum shield. Third, we demonstrate enough offensive power to make them reconsider. And if they don't reconsider? Asked Governor Wilson from the Mars colony. Then we fight, Daniel said simply. But every study of their behavior suggests the Empire prefers easy conquests. They have too many worlds to waste resources on difficult ones. President Foster stood. Our forces are in position. The shield is ready. What about our special weapon? Olivia stepped forward. The quantum disruptor is theoretical, Madam President. We've never tested it. Can you make the Altarians believe it works? The President asked. Olivia exchanged glances with Ryan. Yes, we can create a convincing demonstration. Good, the President said. Because in 1 week, the Imperial fleet returns, and everything depends on making them believe Earth is too dangerous to conquer. As the meeting ended, Daniel looked at the holographic display of Earth. Soon, those ships would return, expecting to find a primitive world ready for conquest. They would find something very different instead. 1 week later, the sky above Earth filled with alien ships. 50 vessels of various sizes appeared in orbit, their hulls gleaming in the sunlight. The largest ship, the Eternal Dominion, positioned itself above North America. In the White House Situation Room, President Foster and her advisors watched the screens with tense expressions. They're scanning the planet, reported General Ramirez, looking at our cities, power grids, military bases. Let them look, Daniel said. Remember, we appear week first. Earth had carefully prepared for this moment. Their most advanced technology was hidden. Military bases displayed only conventional weapons. The quantum shield generators remained inactive, buried beneath ordinary structures. They're sending a message, said Communications Director Frank Ward. The screen showed Imperial Assessor Crovan. People of Earth, your assessment begins now. Imperial teams will land in your major cities. Do not interfere with their work. President Foster nodded to Daniel. Time for Phase 1. On a field outside Chicago, a bright light appeared as an alien shuttle landed. 6 Altarians in sleek armor emerged, carrying advanced scanning equipment. They were met by Lieutenant Eric Collins and a small honor guard. Welcome to Earth, Eric said with a polite smile. I'm Lieutenant Collins, your liaison during your visit. The lead Altarian, wearing more elaborate armor, stepped forward. I am Assessment Officer Vexna. We will begin by examining your technological capabilities. Of course, Eric replied. We have prepared demonstrations of our energy production, transportation systems, and communication networks. As they walked toward the waiting vehicles, Vexna scanned the area. Your defenses are minimal. Earth is a peaceful planet, Eric said, following the script perfectly. We focus on exploration and scientific advancement. The Altarians exchanged glances that seemed dismissive. They clearly thought Earth would be an easy conquest. Similar scenes played out in Beijing, Moscow, London, and other major cities. Each time, humans appeared cooperative but limited in their technology. The Altarians grew increasingly confident. In orbit, Crovan received the reports from the assessment teams. Primitive weapons, basic space travel capabilities, no unified planetary defense system. He summarized to his officers. This will be a simple integration. One of his officers looked concerned. Sir, should we not investigate further? Their advancement from their first spaceflight to lunar colonies was unusually rapid. They had help, Crovan said dismissively, likely from illegal technology traders. Nothing that threatens us. On Earth, Daniel received the signal he was waiting for. The Altarians have positioned their ships exactly where Earth wanted them. Some were close to Earth, others spread throughout the solar system. It's time, he said to President Foster. Phase 2. She nodded grimly. Activate the shield. Deep beneath the surface, the quantum shield generators powered up. Around the planet, invisible energy fields began to form. The shield didn't just protect Earth. It extended to create a bubble that trapped several Imperial ships inside while cutting off others. In orbit, alarms blared on the Eternal Dominion. What is happening? Crovan demanded. Energy field detected. An officer reported, panic in his voice. It's surrounding the planet and extending outward. Our ships in sectors 4 through 7 are trapped. They cannot achieve faster than light travel. Impossible, Crovan hissed. Their technology is not advanced enough for planetary shields. The view screen activated, showing Daniel Wright in his admiral's uniform. Imperial Assessor Crovan, This is Admiral Wright of Earth. I believe you're finding our assessment results surprising. Crovan's face darkened with anger. Explain this deception. No deception, Daniel replied calmly. You came to assess Earth's capabilities. We're now ready to show you our true technology. In Chicago, Lieutenant Collins watched the Altarian assessment team receive urgent communications. Their confident demeanor vanished, replaced by confusion and alarm. Is something wrong? Eric asked innocently. Vexna stared at him with new respect and fear. What is your planet? Eric smiled. Earth is home to humans, and humans don't surrender easily. In orbit, Crovan faced the human admiral on the screen. Deactivate this shield immediately. I'm afraid I can't do that, Daniel replied. Not until we complete our own assessment of your intentions. The trap was set. Phase 2 was complete. Now came the dangerous part, making the Altarian Empire understand that Earth was not to be conquered. 2 hours after the shield activation, Admiral Daniel Wright boarded a shuttle to the Eternal Dominion. He wore his formal uniform and carried a small metal case. 2 guards accompanied him, both looking calm despite entering an alien warship. Are you sure about this, sir? Asked one guard, a young woman named Sergeant Kelly Howard. Sometimes you need to look your opponent in the eye, Daniel replied. This is one of those times. The shuttle docked with a massive Imperial ship. When the doors opened, they were met by 6 Altarian guards with weapons drawn. You will follow us, one said coldly. The Imperial assessor awaits. The humans were led through corridors filled with technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. Daniel noted everything he saw, storing it for later analysis. They entered a large chamber with a circular table. Imperial Assessor Crovan stood at the far end, his tall frame tense with anger. You have violated Imperial assessment protocols, Crovan said without greeting. Explain your actions, or we will take measures to disable your shield by force. Daniel stepped forward. Before we discuss the shield, I believe you should review this information. He placed the metal case on the table and opened it. Inside was a data crystal, alien technology recovered from the visitor's crashed ship. Daniel placed it on the table, and it activated, projecting holographic images. These are records of Earth's previous encounters with alien species, Daniel explained. 3 different groups have attempted to claim Earth in the past century. Crovan reluctantly looked at the images. They showed battles in space, alien ships being destroyed by Earth vessels. The last group called themselves the Zoraxian Hive Mind, Daniel continued. They sent 12 warships. None returned. A hologram changed to show a recorded message. An insect-like alien spoke in its native language, with translation appearing below. Avoid the human system, it warned. They appear primitive, but possess devastating defenses. The cost of conquest is too high. Crovan's expression flickered. These could be fabrications. They're not, Daniel said simply. Just as our primitive appearance was not the full truth. Daniel touched a control on his wrist. Outside the viewports, space seemed to shimmer. Hidden Earth ships appeared, their stealth systems deactivated. There were dozens of them, with designs unlike the vessels the Altarians had seen before. Our actual fleet, Daniel explained, built using technology we've developed or acquired. Crovan's eyes narrowed. You think this will intimidate the Empire? We have thousands of worlds, millions of ships. We don't seek to intimidate, Daniel replied, only to demonstrate that conquering Earth would cost more than it's worth. To prove his point, Daniel touched his wrist control again. 2 Earth ships moved into position near smaller Imperial vessels. Beams of energy connected them briefly. The Imperial ships went dark, their systems disabled. Alarms sounded throughout the Eternal Dominion. What have you done? Crovan demanded. A temporary shutdown, Daniel assured him. Their systems will restart in 1 hour. No crew members were harmed. This is an act of war, Crovan said, his voice low and dangerous. No, Daniel corrected. This is a demonstration. War would involve activating the quantum disruptors on all your ships, not just two. The bluff seemed to work. Crovin studied Daniel with new respect and caution. "What do you want, Admiral?" "Earth and its colonies to be recognized as sovereign territory, off-limits to imperial expansion." Crovin was silent for a long moment. "The Empire does not negotiate with primitive worlds." "Then perhaps it's time for the Empire to create a new classification," Daniel suggested, "for worlds that are more trouble than they're worth." An Altarian officer entered the chamber and whispered something to Crovin. The Imperial Assessor's expression changed. "Our long-range sensors detect more energy signatures in your asteroid belt," he said. "You have hidden more ships." Daniel neither confirmed nor denied this. "As I said, conquering Earth would be costly." Crovin straightened to his full height. "I must consult with the Imperial High Command. This situation is unprecedented." "We'll be waiting for your answer," Daniel said. "In the meantime, your assessment teams may continue their work, but under supervision." As Daniel left the chamber, he kept his face neutral. The demonstration had worked. The Altarians were reconsidering. But the most dangerous part was still to come. Would the Empire back down, or would they see Earth's defiance as a challenge that must be crushed? The fate of humanity hung in the balance. 3 days passed with the Imperial ships maintaining their positions. The quantum shield remained active, creating an uneasy stalemate. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky with worry. The bright dots of alien vessels were visible even without telescopes. In the neutral meeting room set up at the United Nations building in New York, Ambassador Lisa Chen prepared for the most important diplomatic meeting in human history. She had been chosen for her calm nature and brilliant mind. At 42, she had negotiated peace between nations during the water wars. Now she would try to negotiate peace between worlds. "They're here," said her assistant, a young man named Kevin Nash. The doors opened, and Imperial Assessor Crovin entered with 2 other Altarians. They looked around the room with careful eyes, noting every detail. "Ambassador Chen," Crovin said with a slight bow of his head, "the Empire has authorized me to hear your proposal." Lisa gestured to the chairs. "Please sit. Would you like refreshments?" The Altarians declined and took their seats. Lisa sat across from them, her posture perfect, her face showing respect but not fear. "The people of Earth appreciate this opportunity for dialogue," she began. "We have a simple request: recognition of Earth and its colonies as a sovereign system, off-limits to imperial expansion." Crovin's expression didn't change. "The Empire spans 10,000 worlds across 3 galactic sectors. We do not change our ways because a single planet asks us to." "We understand," Lisa replied. "The Empire has existed for thousands of years. Change is difficult." "Not difficult," Crovin corrected. "Unnecessary. Your demonstration of technology was impressive for a young species, but it does not change your status." Lisa expected this response. "Perhaps this will." She placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram of the solar system. "This is a quantum entanglement weapon," she explained. "It's linked to similar devices throughout our system. If Earth is attacked, they will all activate." "And what will they do?" asked one of the other Altarians, speaking for the first time. "They will create a quantum disruption field that will make faster-than-light travel impossible in this sector of the galaxy," Lisa said. "For approximately 50 years. The Altarians exchanged glances. "Impossible," Crovin said, but his voice lacked conviction. "The same way our planetary shield was impossible," Lisa asked with a gentle smile. "We recovered this technology from various sources. We hope never to use it." She leaned forward. "We don't want war, Imperial Assessor. We don't want to join your empire, but we're open to peaceful relations. Trade, cultural exchange, scientific cooperation, all possible between equals." Crovin was silent for a long moment. "You would risk cutting off a section of the galaxy just to maintain your independence. Freedom is central to human identity," Lisa explained. "Throughout our history, We have fought and died for it. We would rather face destruction than live without it." One of the Altarians whispered something to Croven. His expression changed slightly. "Our scans detected unusual energy readings from your lunar bases," he said. "Were those more weapons?" Lisa neither confirmed nor denied. "Earth has prepared for this day since we found the first alien ship. We hoped for peaceful contact, but prepared for all possibilities." "And what guarantee do we have that you won't use these weapons against the Empire later?" Crovan asked. "The same guarantee you have with any sovereign world," Lisa replied. "Mutual interest in peace. We have no desire for conquest. We only wish to be left alone." Kevin handed Lisa a document. She placed it on the table. "This is a proposed treaty of non-interference," she explained. "It outlines terms for recognizing Earth's sovereignty while establishing basic protocols for peaceful interaction." Crovan picked up the document. "The Imperial High Command must review this." "Of course," Lisa said. "We'll await their decision." After the Altarians left, Admiral Wright entered the room. "How did it go?" Lisa let out a breath she'd been holding. "They're considering it. That's more than we could have hoped for." Daniel looked out the window at the alien ships visible in the daytime sky. "Do you think they believed you about the quantum disruption weapon?" "They can't be sure either way," Lisa said. "And that uncertainty is our greatest protection." Outside, the people of Earth waited, unaware that their fate was being decided in distant alien councils. The next few days would determine whether humanity would stand free among the stars or become just another conquered world in a vast empire. 3 weeks passed with no word from the Altarian Empire. The Imperial ships remained in orbit, silent and watching. Earth's defense forces stayed on high alert, led by General Patrick Summers, a veteran of the Mars Rebellion. No one slept well. Everyone waited. In military bases around the world, soldiers stood ready. The quantum shield remained active, using enormous amounts of energy. Dr. Martins and her team worked day and night to maintain it. "Can we keep the shield up indefinitely?" President Foster asked during a late-night meeting. "Another month, maybe 2, Olivia replied, dark circles under her eyes. "After that, the power systems will fail." Daniel looked at the tactical display. "If they're going to attack, they'll do it soon." The waiting was the hardest part. Children still went to school, but they practiced emergency drills daily. Workers went to their jobs but kept one eye on the sky. Humanity carried on, but fear hung in the air like a fog. Then, on the 22nd day, the sensors detected movement. "Multiple ships leaving orbit," reported Officer Garcia at the monitoring station. "All but one are moving away from Earth." The leaders gathered in the Situation Room and watched the screens. The Imperial fleet was departing, jumping to faster-than-light speed once they cleared the quantum shield's range. "Are they retreating?" asked Secretary Peterson. "Or regrouping for an attack?" General Summers warned. The largest ship, the Eternal Dominion, remained in orbit. Soon after, a message arrived requesting a meeting. This time, the meeting took place on neutral ground, the International Space Station. Ambassador Chen and Admiral Wright represented Earth. They waited in the station's conference module, watching through the windows as an Altarian shuttle approached. "Whatever happens," Lisa said quietly, humanity stood its ground. The shuttle docked, and the airlock opened. To their surprise, a new Altarian entered, not Croven, but a taller figure wearing elaborate robes covered in glowing symbols. "I am Grand Imperial Envoy Thaxor," the alien announced. "I speak with the direct authority of the Emperor." They exchanged formal greetings before sitting at the table. "The Imperial High Command has reviewed your situation extensively," Thaxor began. "Your technology, your defenses, and your unusual determination have been noted." Lisa and Daniel exchanged glances but remained silent. "In 12,000 years of expansion," Thaxor continued, "the Empire has encountered only 6 species that required special classification. After much debate, We have decided that humans shall be the seventh. The envoy produced a crystal tablet and placed it on the table. This is the Emperor's decree. Earth and its colonies are officially designated as a sovereign anomaly, a system acknowledged to be independent of imperial authority. Lisa blinked in surprise. The Empire recognizes our independence. With conditions, Faxor said. The solar system is now marked as restricted territory. No imperial ships will enter without permission. In return, humans will not expand beyond your current colonies without notification to the Empire. Daniel leaned forward. And trade. Cultural exchange. Limited interactions will be permitted through designated neutral zones, Faxor explained. Military presence is forbidden for both sides. Lisa reviewed the crystal tablet, which displayed the terms in multiple languages, including English. This is acceptable to Earth, she said finally. The Treaty of Seoul was signed that day. Ambassador Chen's hand shook slightly as she pressed her palm to the crystal, recording her biometric signature alongside the imperial seal. When the ceremony was complete, Faxor stood. The Emperor is curious about your species. Perhaps in time, we will understand each other better. We hope so, Lisa replied. After the Altarians departed, celebrations erupted across Earth. People filled the streets, looking up at the sky with relief instead of fear. For the first time, humanity had faced a galactic power and held its ground. On the observation deck of the space station, Daniel and Olivia watched the Eternal Dominion depart, its massive form disappearing in a flash of light. "Do you think they'll honor the treaty?" Olivia asked. "For now," Daniel replied. "But we should prepare for the future. The galaxy is bigger than we imagined, with more powers and dangers." "And opportunities," Olivia added. "We're not alone anymore." Daniel nodded. "They'll be back someday. Maybe as friends, maybe not. But next time, we'll be ready." As Earth celebrated below them, the two looked out at the stars. No longer just distant lights, but destinations and new frontiers for humanity. The warning had been delivered and heeded. Earth was off limits. But the story of humans among the stars was just beginning.